Hello and welcome back. This is the second video as part of our series on Thrive. My name's Lizzie and we've also got Becca and Lorna. So last week we started talking about time. We focused on the What's on Your Plate activity, where we looked at how we were using our time on a day-to-day basis. So hopefully you found that an enjoyable and helpful activity. Today we're going to continue the theme of time, but instead of focusing on our day-to-day time, we're going to be focusing on times in our life when change might have happened and might happen in the future. So life itself and recovery from mental illness is a process, and it occurs at our own individual pace. Time for many of us can be a healer. Time, space, distance can just be helpful to put things into perspective. In our lives, there will be a right time for us individually to make a change or to come to a point of acceptance of a situation, and only we as individuals will know when that time is. So today we're going to be focusing on those times. We are calling them turning points, and Becca will talk to you a little bit more about what these are, how to notice them, and how to use them.
Yes. Turning points really are about reaching a decision to make a change or to reach acceptance. So it's a point in time that can help you organize, understand, or identify your experiences. And it can be any length of time. For some of us, change is really hard, and it might take us a long time to get to a point of acceptance or to a point where we can change. And you can have many turning points. It's not just a situation where you have the one and you're solved and you're fine. For lots of us, we have lots of points in our life where we have these turning points. And these turning points themselves, they can be brought on by many things. They can be brought on by intentional ones, like moving house or meeting someone new or deciding to have a family, or they can be brought on by unintentional ones, like maybe not deciding to have a family, or, for example, worldwide events that are affecting us all. But these events themselves are not the turning points, they are the catalyst for turning points. The turning point itself is our decision to make that change.
Yeah, I think it's really important what you said there, Becca, about turning points. Don't have to be this one huge thing that happens and then life suddenly changes. They can be tiny things, and life itself is just a succession of turning points. And they can be little tiny things like getting a phone call and someone saying something that just kind of clicks for you, or something you've read, or meeting somebody new. It doesn't have to be this kind of big event that then kind of causes a change. There's a really nice phrase that I wanted to say, which is your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. So it's about that kind of taking responsibility almost to kind of make a decision to use that point in time to then change something, or just as importantly, to come to a point of acceptance of something.
Yeah, I think it's also about we can't always control what happens to us, but we can, to an extent, control how we react to that. So it could be little things in any event in our lives where we decide to make that change. So it could be, okay, I'm not getting enough sleep. So putting in routines, like we talked about last week with routines, to get that sleep. It could be going for a walk every day. It could be reaching out to a friend or for help. And that can be the start of a much bigger change in your life, I think. Keeping a diary, seeing what it is that you're doing in a day. And that's just a small thing to do, but can make such a massive change. In my life, looking back, a turning point for me was I decided that I needed to change aspects of my life. I wasn't very well, and I went to the GP. It was a sudden decision, but I went, and actually it was the beginning of a big change. So yeah, it's important to, sometimes we take control, but yeah, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we react.
Yeah, and I think for me, looking back, I was quite unwell with agoraphobia, so I didn't leave the house for a number of years, and I was really quite unwell with it. And then, looking back now, there was no point where something happened to me that I reacted from, but I reached a kind of natural point in my life where I made that decision because I didn't like where my life was and I wanted to get better, and that was that turning point. It wasn't necessarily some like grand decision, but it was a natural one that had come to in my life. And I don't really remember it being just that one point. You know, it was a succession of like multiple turning points of just realizing things about the way I was and how I was living my life, and changing those. It was lots of small little changes, because to me change was terrifying, and having to work at putting that change was also really terrifying. So managing it in like those small little chunks was much easier.
Yeah, it sounds like for you, Becca, that there wasn't a specific thing that happened, an event that was your turning point. It was just the fact that you naturally reached that point in your life where you felt able to make a change. I think for me, the example that came to my mind first when thinking about this was something that was kind of an intentional change. So I moved from London to Mid Wales, which was a big lifestyle change. And I think for me, I used that event to be a catalyst for change, for my general lifestyle, for my outlook, and for my mental health. So that was quite a big event that was my turning point. But there's also been, like we talked about earlier, life is just a succession of turning points. There's been small things that have been a turning point for me as well. For example, just speaking to a friend and hearing them say that they've made a change or started something new or tried something, that's just them saying that has been a turning point for me, because it's then maybe given me the confidence to do something similar, or it's made me think about something in a different way. So anything basically can be a turning point.
It's knock-on effect, isn't it? When you change one small thing, then something else will change, and you might change somebody else's life for the better. It's contagious. Doing something positive is contagious.
And I think sometimes we can't see how those turning points are going to kind of pan out for us. You know, we might make a small choice to say go to an exercise class, and then eventually maybe it turns out that you become an exercise class leader, or or yoga becomes a huge part of your life and your identity. It's sometimes it's those really small little decisions that can have huge impacts on your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And if what we've been chatting about today resonates with you, if you'd like to leave a comment in the chat about maybe turning points in your life, or even if you use this video as the catalyst to make a change in your life. It could be, if you need help today, reach out and ask for that help today. Bring a friend, go to the GP, or contact us if you need that help to change. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks very much. Okay, bye.
Bye.